Have you ever noticed how some people manage to smile even when everything inside them is falling apart? Maybe you are one of them. Maybe no one sees it, but you are at your limit. And the worst part is that you have learned to hide it. So well, that even God seems to have forgotten. That is what we need to talk about now. Because you did not get here by chance. Something is about to happen. Something that will tear apart this silence that has suffocated you for so long. A presence is all around you, even if your eyes do not see it. And this message is for you. You have been holding the world with your weak shoulders, and no one has noticed. You greet people, you work, you reply to messages with laughing emojis. But when you lay your head on the pillow, your chest tightens, the emptiness screams, and you feel like you are losing your strength. No one cares, no one asks, no one really cares. Except someone is listening. Someone is acting right now. And it is not human. It is spiritual. It is invisible. And it is real. While you cry in the bathroom hidden from your family, or swallow, hard in the middle of the crowd, there is an angel moving silently. But before it shows up, you need to understand this. You were never the problem. The problem was believing that you needed to be strong all the time, that you couldn't break, that you had to hold on for everyone, and that lie trapped you. Maybe you were betrayed. Maybe they promised you eternal love and left you halfway. Maybe the money ran out and, along with it, your self-esteem. The world looks at you and sees an okay woman, but inside there's a wounded child screaming for help. And that, no one sees. But the angels see it. You know that feeling of being watched when you're about to explode? That strange calm that envelops you after a crying fit? That wasn't your mind. It was the warning. It was the touch of a greater force trying to remind you, you're not alone. And I know, maybe right now everything is too dark. But let me tell you a secret that no one has told you yet. Before the light enters, the universe allows the densest darkness not to punish you, but to prepare you. You're in one of the most important moments of your life, the moment when the angel approaches. And do you know why? Because you're finally ready to stop pretending. You're tired of carrying it alone. You asked for help in silence, and it came. But heaven works in silence when it wants change to be real. That's why nothing makes sense now. That's why it seems like everything got worse. But believe me, the healing is coming through the same path that made you bleed. And the angel who accompanies you, he's already seen the future. And in the future, you're no longer in this place. Now I want you to tell me, did you feel this while you were listening? Did you recognize this pain? So comment below. I'm here, so that heaven knows that you still believe. And if this awakened something in you, if this message touched you, stay. Because the next part reveals why your silence was the key to the miracle that has already begun. You know that silence that accompanies you on the noisiest days? The one that has no sound, but weighs like 1,000 voices judging you inside? It's the silence that destroys. Because it's not the screams that kill a soul. It's the silences. The silences between an I'm fine and the desire to disappear. Between a notification that didn't come and a call that was never made again. Between what you wanted to say and what you swallowed for fear of seeming weak. And it's in this abyss, in this soundless space, that the angels work. Because what you call abandonment, heaven calls preparation. It's when no one answers that God speaks the most. But he speaks differently. He speaks of losses, of pauses, of doors that close and hurt. Have you ever had the feeling of being alive, but not existing? It's as if the whole world were spinning, and you were standing in the middle of the storm, without shelter, without a voice, without anyone to understand the depth of what you're experiencing. But let me tell you something that perhaps no one had the courage to say before. Your pain has a purpose. Your loneliness is not a punishment. It's a code. Heaven responds in ways that seem like punishments, but are disguised protections. That person who ignored you, They weren't a blessing. They were a delay. That money that didn't come in, it was supposed to teach you to see value where the world only sees scarcity. You are being prepared for something greater, and that is why everything around you has become small. There is an angel standing beside you now. You don't hear it. You don't see it. But if you close your eyes now, you will feel it. It is like a weight being lifted off your shoulders, as if someone were saying, "Enough. It is enough. Now it is my turn to take care of you." But the angel does not shout. He whispers. And to hear this whisper, the world had to be silent. You lost friendships, loves, security, to hear what only the Spirit understands. You are being rescued. And the rescue is invisible until it changes everything. But before the light enters, there comes the roar. And perhaps today you are in the middle of this roar. But I ask you, do not give up. Not now. Because it is precisely when you think it is over that the miracle begins. And if this made sense to you, comment now. I'm feeling this. Because the more you acknowledge the pain, the closer you get to healing. And in the next part, you'll understand the exact moment the angel entered your story, even if you didn't realize it. It was just another ordinary night. The city was asleep, and you stared at the ceiling. Your chest was tight. Your mind was restless. Your prayers increasingly silent. You even thought, maybe God is too busy to hear me. But at that moment, something different happened. It was quick, a sudden shiver, a strange peace almost out of place that enveloped you for seconds. That wasn't random. It wasn't imagination. It was a whisper in the dark. The first time the angel touched your soul. Not with words, not with promises, but with presence. He arrived slowly because he knew you were too fragile to perceive something so strong. And this angel is not a pretty image with wings. He is an ancient force, sent to rebuild you from within. No audience, no show, just you and him. That same night when you considered giving up on everything, something moved in the invisible. You thought no one knew about your pain, but heaven knew. You believed you were alone, but you weren't. Do you want proof? Then think about those seconds when fear almost overcame you, and something held you back. You couldn't explain it. You just knew it couldn't end there. That's intervention. That's the angel acting, even if you didn't see it. And since that moment, he's been walking by your side. He protected you from messages you wanted to send, but something held you back. He diverted you from people who would make you bleed again, even when you thought you needed them. He silenced doors to take you to one that no one else could open. Because this angel didn't come to give you what you want. He came to give you back what you lost, your faith, your value, your ability to love without giving up, and to prosper without selling out. But the world doesn't understand this kind of movement. It will seem like you're moving away. It will seem like you're losing everything. In fact, you are being realigned. You are coming back to yourself. And when that happens, nothing stays the same. Now answer me honestly. Have you ever felt that whisper too? That feeling that something bigger is trying to wake you up from the depths of the pit? So write down "I felt it" in the comments. Because if you recognize it, it's because the angel is already in action. And what comes next will prove it to you. You wonder why people always leave, why they promise to stay and then disappear, why when you need them most, no one stays. And this question has haunted you for years. But what you may have never realized is that abandonment left a mark. Not on your body, but on your soul. It's an invisible scar. It doesn't bleed. It's silent. It makes you distrust even those who truly love you. It makes you think that if you insist too much, you'll be left again. And if you don't insist, that's it too. It's a cruel game between the fear of being alone and the fear of being hurt. And with each new person who leaves, this mark grows. But what if I told you that heaven allowed these separations, that the love that broke you wasn't the promise. It was the preparation. You're not being punished. You were separated. The angel that accompanies you knew that if you continued to be surrounded by those who only knew how to suck, you would never blossom. Because to receive what is real, you needed to get rid of what was false. And that hurts. It hurts so much that it seems unfair. But it's necessary. You thought you were being forgotten, but you were being kept, protected, removed from the noise so you could hear the truth. You deserve more than leftovers. You deserve more than emotional crumbs. You deserve the whole love and the prosperity that doesn't charge your soul in return. That's why the doors closed. That's why he disappeared. That's why she blocked you. That's why that money slipped through your fingers. None of it was yours. It was a disguise. And when the angel arrives, the first thing he does is clean. He takes away the illusions. He removes what seems like love, but only holds you back. He breaks invisible contracts you made with scarcity, with guilt, with need. And in its place, he plants something new. But most people give up before they see it happen. They give up in the midst of pain. They go back to their comfort zone. They accept the minimum. Again, but not you. If you've come this far, it's because your spirit still resists. There's still fire inside. And now I ask you, did you recognize this mark? Have you ever felt like you were being removed from something you wanted, only to later discover that it was deliverance? If so, comment here. I was separated because when you recognize abandonment as a sign, not as rejection, you start to see everything with different eyes, spiritual eyes. Eyes of someone who knows the angel took to later deliver something much greater. And in the next part, you will understand that what seemed like a failure was in fact the test. The end before the most powerful new beginning of your life. You thought you had failed. You thought you were losing everything. And in a way, you really were. But what you didn't see is that what you called failure was a test in disguise, a test sent from above. Not to punish you, but to prove whether your faith was made of appearance or essence. Because there is something that few people understand. When heaven wants to give you something great, it first tests your foundations. It shakes everything that is superficial to see what remains standing when everything else falls apart. Do you remember the day when the bills didn't add up? When you had to choose between buying food or paying a debt? That day when your heart begged for a sign and silence was the only answer? That wasn't punishment, it was the testing ground. And even without realizing it, you passed. You continued helping those in need. You prayed even though you didn't feel like it. You didn't give up even though you wanted to. That heaven saw, the angel saw. And it was at that exact moment, on your worst day, that something began to move behind the scenes. But it was so subtle, so slow, that you thought nothing was happening. But it was. Because the angel never acts in a hurry. He acts with precision. He calculates every step, every delay, every silence. He works on the details. The ones you ignore, the ones that seem small, but move mountains. While you thought you were being ignored, heaven was redesigning your route, closing the shortcuts that would take you to the abyss, correcting detours that you didn't even know existed, and placing obstacles where you only saw bad luck. All of this to prepare you. What seemed like the end was just the ground on which the new foundation would be built, solid, armored, because now you no longer depend on anyone's approval, nor on empty loves, nor on broken promises. Now, you know, you were tested, and you survived. Do you want proof? Then look back. See everything that tried to bring you down and failed. You are here, wounded, maybe, but whole enough to start over. And now tell me, have you ever experienced this kind of failure that later turned out to be a deliverance? This kind of pain that seemed like the end, but was only the beginning? If so, comment now. I was tested. Because when you admit that you were tested by fire and didn't get burned, you begin to understand the size of what is coming. In the next part, I'll tell you about the visit that changed everything. The exact moment when the angel crossed your path and you, without knowing it, were touched by him for the first time. And nothing was the same again. You got this far. You read every word, felt every silence, recognized every wound. And that wasn't by chance. The angel that accompanies you didn't choose just anyone. He chose you, because even after everything, you still believe. Even with a patched up heart, you still love. Even with a tired soul, you still hope. And that's why the transformation has already begun. The love that was denied to you is returning. The prosperity that seemed impossible is getting closer. And the void that accompanied you, it is being filled, not by things, but by presence. The presence of something greater, of someone who never left you, of an angel, who is already acting behind the scenes in your life. So if this message truly touched your heart, comment below, I believe, so that heaven may see, so that the angel may confirm, so that the blessing may manifest. And don't keep this just for yourself. Share this message with someone who also needs to hear it. Someone who seems strong, but is silently collapsing. And if you want to continue receiving messages like this, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. The next video could be the sign you've been waiting for. Healing begins with faith. And faith begins with a decision. You are not alone. You never have been. And now, you never will be again.